achieve their best in academics. And this is a series of webinars we are using. And this is 14 series. We did on medicine and dentistry, then we did on the finance and the accounting and finance and engineering. This is fourth in the series. And the background is obviously the innovation students and the parents and the students don't have enough knowledge and background information. So this was in order to give them more information and insight of any specific field. So this time we are doing on the pharmacy, anything about its admission as a career. And we have, it's a great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Mr. Noshad Akhtar, so who is working in a wealth of experience in community pharmacy as well as in a general practice pharmacist. So I will, without any delay, welcome him to start his talk, and hopefully everybody will have found this information useful. So there are rules from housekeeping. If you have any questions, you can put in a chat box and we can put at the end, or once you finish the presentations, you can have question answer session, where if you have any questions regarding the admission in pharmacy or about its career, you can ask at the end of presentation. So I will ask Brother Noshad Akhtar to start his presentation. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Noshad. Assalam alaikum, brother. Is it okay in this way, or you want me to put my camera on?
You can have your camera on. It will be nice, please, if possible.
All right, that's fine. All right, just give me. Everyone, yeah, my name is Noshad, and I'm one of the pharmacists. I will briefly introduce myself with just a bit of background, and I will move on to the pharmacy as a career. If anyone has got any questions in between, just let me know. Then will have a Q&A session at the end, and if anyone has got anything to ask. So I have done a pharmacy degree back from Pakistan, and then I came here in 2005, and then I completed my degree over here. Then I've done my pre-reg training. It's a 1-year training, so I did in community. Then I joined. Progressed my career as a community pharmacist with one of the supermarkets. Did their about 7-8 years. I did the job out there. Then I opened my own pharmacy, and I'm working there as and on community pharmacy as well. Then I've done the prescribing course. I will come to the prescribing course later with a bit more detail. After finishing the prescribing course, I joined one of the medical practice as a GP pharmacist, and have been working there for past. It has come under the umbrella of GTD. Some people in the might know about GTD. Is one of the healthcare organization covering Manchester area. So I'm working with them as a clinical pharmacist, working in the medical practices and out of hours service as well. Recently, I have completed my master's in research, and I have from Huddersfield University, yeah, that's a bit of my career, based on my experience of working a few years in Pakistan as well as my past experience of almost 15 years in the UK. I will try to highlight how the things I have seen in the pharmacy when I came, how the things have progressed recently, and where I can see the future coming up as a pharmacy career. So,
brother, sorry to interrupt. Can you bring your mic a bit closer to your mouth, please?
All right.
It will be better audible. Thank you. Sorry.
That's getting any better?
Yeah, surely it's better. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah, so I will just highlight how the things have been in past 15 years and how I can, the future is coming up as a pharmacy career. When I came here, the pharmacy, the main thing was as a community pharmacist, and most of the pharmacy who have graduated, they move on to work in a community pharmacy. But recently, quite a few changes have been coming in the healthcare sector, and pharmacy has become one of the most probably and very important healthcare profession that has come up recently, especially because of the workload that has gone on in the primary care as well in the secondary care, in the community, in the medical practices, as well as in the hospital. So in the recent or in the recent 5-year plan of the NHS, pharmacists have become more like in a central role in the healthcare sector, and that's why quite a few new roles that have emerged for the new generation, or for the students, or the pharmacists who are graduating. So to start, I will just say that it's a very well future oriented career. If anyone wants to come in this field, they will have got loads of opportunities to grow up their career. It is one of the career where we call is a portfolio career, where it's just not you can build your career in just not one line, but you can diverse it into a number of different sectors. And most of the skills are transferable from one sector to the other sector. I will just highlight a few different careers, or few different sectors where pharmacists can work in a bit more detail in the later section. But because of the various vast fields where pharmacists can go and work, it has become more like a portfolio career, where you can work in a clinical role, in a management role, in a research role, in academia role, different type of are available. So definitely, if someone is looking into build up their career in a diverse, then pharmacy is a very good option to go on. Most of the students, when they are in the A level, GCSE level, they when they work or when they think about the medical field, doctors or dentistry are the first line option, where they think that this is the ambition. And definitely, I mean, they have got a very high profile career as a doctor, respectable and much acknowledged career. So that's why parents or students, they look towards joining the medicine or dentistry, and that's where I think pharmacy, the importance or the highlighting of the pharmacy profession is not being dealt or not being done in a proper way, because many students or parents, they are not aware how important or how much students can grow in the pharmacy career, from their personal point of view, as well as pay is always uh, what should I say, a factor which concerns or which affects any career. So from your own personal content, as well as the pay wise, pharmacy is a good career, because once you finish your degree, you start your career around about in the starting years, you start with 20 to 30K. But within your own 5 to 10 years, if you work with the passion, or if you try to grow your career, then easily in 5 to 10 years time, you can touch around about 50 to 60K. It's not the limit. There are bands in hospital where you can grow. In community, you can always opt out to have your own business, which is very rewarding. And then the new roles which are coming in the as a GP practice role or academia, definitely is something that can maybe you can build up your career money wise as well. So, I mean, what qualification you need at the school level? You need at least 5 GCSEs in English, Maths, and double science. In college and higher, I'm just copying some notes from one of the site, so it might be a bit different college-wise or university-wise, but yeah, college and higher education, A levels in chemistry and 2 of the biology, mathematics, physics, and AB grade, at least AA, BB, or AA. BB in chemistry, math, physics, biology, human biology, and it might varies in Scotland, but these are the basic grades. Some really good universities like Aston University or King's, or they meet the higher grades, but then the other universities they can look for the a bit low grades as well. So yeah, these are the initial qualification, but the main thing which we need to highlight that once we opt the pharmacy career, then where this career takes us. Um, and then, to be honest, the answer is anywhere. As I said in the start, it's just not the initial or the might be the community pharmacy where most of the parents or most of the students will get a bit of initial for that pharmacists work in the community or hospital, and that's the limit, the initial limit, or might be you might see some, I mean, old age pharmacists working in the community which have been content to work as a community pharmacist. But for me, or for my experience, just this, that might be the start of a brightful career, and you can take your career anywhere. All depends upon what skills you develop. I mean, when you leave the university, all the graduates, they are at the same level. Yeah, you might have some good grades or bad grades, but yeah, that's the same level. But the real struggle or the real opportunity starts once you leave your university and once you go into the practical field, and that's where the actual starts, and I mean, the best way to predict the future is to create it. You can't just imagine that I will do it, but you have to create it, and the opportunities are there if you are in the profession, in the pharmacy profession. So a pharmacy can take you anywhere. All depends upon how you take on the opportunity. What you get, you will definitely get the opportunity. There are a number of pharmacists schools who are, graduating the pharmacists, and but all of the pharmacists who are coming out of the university, they do get the opportunity to work in community hospital. So opportunities are there, but the actual career, or where you want to build up your career, or if you want to self-satisfy yourself the career, then you should carry on. You should develop your career. You should carry on the struggle, because it doesn't matter how slowly it can be, but you should never stop to build up your career. Um, I have just highlighted the pay-wise. As I say, it's I mean, band 6 or band 7. It starts with in hospital. If anyone is in the meeting who knows the bands, then yeah, in hospital or in pharmacy or in the healthcare sector, it starts with the bands. So band 6, 7, it starts in hospital, and then I mean, depends upon the training or experience, it goes to band 7, 8A, 8A, and even further. You can build up your career. So yeah, that's the basic the structure of the pharmacy career, from university wise, and how the qualification wise, or just a bit of enthusiasm if you need, and then you can build up the career. Now I will just try to highlight what sectors you can, what sectors are available in the pharmacy career. Remember, pharmacy or pharmacist is the expert of medicine. We have to just try to differentiate between the different health sectors available or working in the present NHS structure. Pharmacy is the third largest healthcare sector at the moment in NHS after doctors and nurses. So doctors are, I mean, they are more on the are diagnosing the healthcare conditions and managing or developing a treatment plan. Nurses, they are on the same side, they are helping the doctors in the helping the to implement that clinical plan. But then comes the pharmacists. So where are the pharmacists? Pharmacists are the expert of medicines. They are the last person who in community especially, or in the hospital as well. So that's the last check after which the patient will get their medications. Sorry, it's just my kids as well. So if there is any disturbance, let me know. Yeah, they are the last the last check after which the patients will get their medications. So once the treatment plan has been finalized, once the prescriptions have been finalized in hospital or in community, it goes into the hand of pharmacists, and they do the final clinical check if the medications are right, if there is no interactions, if there is any changes that needs to be done, and then it goes to the patient. So they are. That's why we say they are the expert of the medicines. Uh, they need some good communication skills. They need good analytical skills. They need so that they can verify if all the things which have come from the clinical management plan has been working well, and then they can in the present scenario, it's the responsibility of the pharmacist that they can make a contact with the patients in community as well as in the hospital as well, to verify that all the things which have been planned, they have been working well. So based on these things, the different sectors are different options are available as a pharmacist in the career, and I will just try to go through one by one and just briefly giving you. Will try to give you a bit of idea how the things have been working. And the first one, as I say, is mainly which you see in public or in community sector is the community pharmacy. A pharmacist working as a community pharmacist. Most of the graduates that come out from the university, yeah, they join the pharmacy profession as a community pharmacist. There are late night pharmacies, there are standard hours pharmacies, and it is must for any pharmacy to operate that they should have a pharmacist present in the premises, and they check all the prescriptions that are surgery. They do the final clinical check, and before giving it out, or if there is any sale over the counter of any medicines, they have to make sure that the right medication being given to the public. So it is a very challenging retail type of sector that where pharmacists are working. I mean, you will see so many pharmacies in the town, villages, everywhere there are community pharmacies. The main job is to help the patients and the public assessing their medical conditions and making decision about their medicines that they should take. So you are involved in dispensing process where you're dispensing the medication based on the prescription coming from the practices, from hospitals or private clinics as well. And then you have to make you have to follow it up with the patients in more like a usage review, where patients can contact the pharmacy about any query they have, so that if there is any questions, then they contact the pharmacy, and pharmacist's responsibility is to make sure that all the actions or all the plan is working in order. Apart from that, there are many different services are being offered in the community pharmacy as well: flu vaccination, travel vaccination, different clinics, PG, patient group directions, based on which I mean you can, as a pharmacist, you can prescribe medication as well under a specific clinical management plan, and then baby clinic. All these type of different clinics are being dealt out or being arranged in the community pharmacy to ease up the pressure from the medical practices. Minor ailment clinic as well, where patients, rather than going to the medical practice, pharmacists, they can contact the pharmacy and they can get the clinical advice or the medicines from the medical or from the community pharmacy. So yeah, that's the a bit of highlight or a bit of idea how the community pharmacy is working. All the actions being done in the community. As I said in the start, that a pharmacist has to be present in the premises to control all these services or the that's being taken in the community pharmacy. The second one is the hospital pharmacy. Again, the second most probably the sector where the is after graduating they go to the hospital pharmacy. It's a very clinical based role where you are responsible for the checks of medication, the wards, in the hospital pharmacy as well, and again to make sure to implement the right medication plan along with the doctors, consultants, and the nurses. So they can work in NHS as well as they can work in the private hospital as well. And I mean, like community pharmacy, the focus is on the healthcare or health of the patients. So the different loads of I mean, a variety of job functions what you can do within the team of pharmacists, which include pharmacists, pharmacy technician, pharmacy assistant, if they are working in hospital pharmacy, as well as if they are working in the wards. So they're involved in manufacturing, developing, testing, supplying, and monitoring effectiveness of all the medicines used in the hospital. So you will also provide advice on other healthcare professionals and not just the patients. As I say, it's a part of the team. Doctors, they can contact the pharmacists to get the advice on the dose, on the interactions, on the availability of the medication. So yeah, they can get in as a part. They can advise not only just the patients or nurses on a broader spectrum. They can advise the doctors as well on the medication issues. You may then specialize later in your career as a specialist pharmacist as well. As I said in the start, it's just the start of the profession when you join hospital or community pharmacy, but then you can grow your career and you can go as oncology pharmacist. You can get the expertise as a respiratory pharmacist, as a cardiology pharmacist, as a psychiatric pharmacist, working in the health, in the mental illness. You can as a pediatric pharmacist. So all the sectors which you might have heard about the consultant or specialist as a doctor, the same lines can go as a pharmacist as well, which can build your career. The advantage of working in the hospital is that there will be loads of opportunities within the hospital sector that you will get to build up your career. Fortunately, NHS has got such a strong the system or the sport where if you want to grow your career and build up as a specialist pharmacist, you will get the opportunities. Along with this, you will also get the opportunities to progress as in the management or teaching role as well within the hospital and work close as a wider healthcare team. I will touch up the academia side of this profession as well, but yeah, many of the academia pharmacists who are doing any research degree or who are teaching in the universities, they have got their profession in hospital as well, where they work as a hospital pharmacist as well as working in the academia side as well. Then the third one I will touch is the industrial pharmacy, where you are working in the big companies and you are involved in research, design, development, and testing of new medicines and treatments to ensure the safety and the quality. As industrial pharmacist, you are, I mean, to start with, most probably you will go and work as a lab pharmacist where you are checking the quality of the medications or the way the batch of the medications are being manufactured. You check quality on each step. along with the other experts who are working there. So you will be more confined in a lab role, but there are opportunities available as a non-lab role as well, like you are involved in medicine information, um, where if anyone else apart from hospital or community, if they have got any query, they have to contact the company about that medication. Then there is a sector where the pharmacist is working as the medicine information pharmacist, and they deal with the queries. They also deal with the regulatory affairs, marketing, and the business development as well. It is a very rewarding sector. It's a bit tough to go into this sector because of the opportunities available at the moment. But the big companies or they always contact the universities when in the final year, third or final year, and they always try to pick up the cream from the university. It's a very, as I said, it's a very rewarding career, and if you have been performing well in the university, then and then these industrial the big companies, they come and they try to look to get you from the university. So, but if you do enter in this sector, it's a very rewarding, because I say it will build up your career not only on the clinical side but also on the management side as well. And these big companies, multinational companies, they will give you a taste of not only working in the UK, but also you will be dealing with their branches outside UK as well, and it will give you an experience, a worldwide experience. So something definitely where if you work hard during university time, then it will definitely give you an opportunity in this sector. But if you do miss out, it's not that if you are not picked up in the university, the opportunities they do come later in the career as well. And they, especially as a medicine information pharmacist, then you can join them, and yeah, you can build up the career from that angle as well. The next one will be the pharmacist working on the academia side, whether it's teaching, researching, practicing, or a mix of all these three sectors. Academia pharmacists enjoy a very exciting career in the universities, because they are involved on the research side, and if they are doing any original research, then yeah, it will. Because I have just finished my research degree, so based on my experience of past 2 3 years, I have done the research of the development of the journal practice pharmacists in England and Australia, a bit of comparison study. So I have contacted quite a few pharmacy from doctors, healthcare organization in the UK as well as in the Australia. So it was really exciting, and it has opened up so many new doors for myself as well. Yeah, so very exciting again, something if you are if you want to build up your career as a teacher, as a researcher, then definitely academia pharmacist is something forward to. Because I mean, they educate, they train, they assess, and they develop pharmacy students, pre-reg trainees, pharmacists, and the health professionals, and then they are involved in the regulatory affairs as well, in a way that because they have done the original research, and they have got a bit of taste from different angles, so they are very much more like a wanted type of person. If you are if especially different organizations in the policy making steps, where they can use their research, where they can use their such skills to evaluate different studies, literature, and they can help it out in making the they can help out in making the policy in the policy making steps. Teacher practitioners have a separate role, spending on average 60% of their work in hospital, community, and industrial pharmacy, and 40% of them as a lecturer. Yeah, that's what I was saying in the when I was talking about the hospital pharmacists. That many hospital pharmacists, they are involved in on the academia side, because universities, they want the hospital pharmacists or clinical pharmacists working in the GP practices to come and they be a like a practitioner lecturer as well, because they want to give the taste of how the practical life is to their students as well. So academia pharmacists are also thought of as a researcher, as I say. So and if you are involved in the research, definitely it will be a start of very successful career for the future. The next one, I will just try to just give a bit of an idea how the things is working in the GP practice. Is something new. It was not in the profession when I started the career, but in past 5 to 10, especially 5 years, because there was so much workload on the general practices that NHS decided that they have to develop some new plan, and they have to use the workforce of some other experts along with the nurses and take the pressure off general practice. And that's where this new sector of GP pharmacists started. It was funded by NHS about 5 years ago for the role of GP pharmacists in the GP practice. Because of the positive impact it had, not just on the clinical side, but also on the financial side of NHS. Now, almost every surgery, every medical practice, every healthcare organization working on the primary care, they are looking to all the pharmacists as a specific GP clinical base pharmacists who are working along with the GPs, nurses in the medical practices. A range of roles, a range of responsibilities, a range of duties they can perform in the GP practice. It will be a bit difficult for me to highlight how many things they are performing at the moment, but varies per surgery to surgery what are the requirements of that medical practice. But yeah, they can involve in running the clinics. They can involve in in the central role of contact between the community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, and the general practice, because I think that was the missing link between these three sectors, and it was taking so much time, or it was putting so much pressure on the GPs to check, to have the final check, clinical check on the plan that was coming from the hospital, or the queries coming from the community pharmacy. So now with the pharmacists sitting in the GP practice, they are dealing with all the queries, or they are dealing with all the management plans coming from hospital or community pharmacy. So to be honest, it has changed the whole spectrum of this profession. If I go 4 or 5 years ago, it was in the market, or it was in the talk of the town was that pharmacists are the numbers of the pharmacists who are coming out of the universities. They are much more than the pharmacists who are the jobs present in the market. But now this new phenomena of GP practice, they have created so many new roles that most probably at the moment medical practices, they are looking for the pharmacist, for the expert to work as a GP pharmacist, but not many are available at the moment. And the community pharmacists or the hospital pharmacists, they are are developing the skills to fulfill that gap or the demand, but still there are so many new roles or there are still so many opportunities available as a GP pharmacist, and definitely the in coming 5 to 10 years time, especially if I look forward in 5 years time, GP pharmacist will be a must profession or the must healthcare professional that will be working in the GP practices, and most probably they will be the first line of contact for the patients to implement. Once the plan is being finalized by the GPs or from hospital, then the GP pharmacist duty to follow them up, to implement, and if to do the reviews, and if there is any query, any question, then they can always they can review the plan, and in under the guidance from the GPs, they can review and make it better. So and at the moment when I do any career type of discussion within my own students type of whoever asks the guidance, then the way this role, the GP practice role, has changed the scenario in past 4 5 years. Definitely, I mean, I might be saying in 4 5. If I go back in 4 5 years, I would say that you have to really struggle, because yeah, the number of the pharmacists are more, and you have to struggle in a way. But yeah, based on this GP pharmacist role, opportunities are there, and you have, it's just to grab it and then build up your career. And the dimension, and finally, I'm just trying to, summarize them out. The new, the stuff of prescribing pharmacists. This the other dimension that has that has improved the weightage of being as a pharmacist, because they can work as a prescriber under the guidance of doctors. To become a prescriber, you have to do a course from the university, and then you have to make a management or to what should I say? Yeah, you have to make yourself expert in the sectors where you are taking the responsibility of prescribing the medication. For example, if you are taking the responsibility in a medical practice, or if you're working in hospital and you are running a diabetic clinic, then you should show that you are expert in the diabetes medication or respiratory medication, and then you will be allowed to work as a that once the diagnosis has been done by a GP or by a doctor that this patient is diabetic, then the follow-up can be done by a nurse and a pharmacist, and they can change the medications depending upon their blood tests or how the things have been working, and they can review the management plan. So definitely something to look forward if you are working as a hospital pharmacist or a GP pharmacist, then to take on this prescribing qualification as well. A few different sectors where you can work as a veterinary pharmacist, where you can so I haven't got much information, but yeah, in veterinary clinics, they have got two of them. They have got veterinary pharmacists working on the same pattern. Then regulatory affairs, that will be the opportunity if you have got academic background, clinical background, then you can work in the regulatory affairs like in GPSC. That's the regulatory body of the pharmacist. You can involve in the regulatory affairs as well. And you can work in the emergency and A&D clinics as well, where in the hospital they have got out of hours service, they have got walk-in clinics, and based on their experience, if they have got the good clinical skills to diagnose, then yeah, they can they can deal with the minor ailment cases or some emergency cases, and that will again reduce the pressure from the NHS and from the doctors. Just to highlight, when I say that they can diagnose and prescribe, is not that they are not they can do all the stuff on their own. They are being monitored by the NHS. They are being monitored by the regulatory bodies as well, and is always under the plan of the from the GPs and the doctor side. Once the diagnosis is done, then just to forward that plan and to prescribe the medications, it is being dealt by the nurse and the pharmacist. It's more like called non-medical prescribers, but something definitely where NHS is banking on to reduce the pressure from the doctors. And finally, just the care homes. You know how much being said about the care homes these days because of this COVID effect, and is from my own personal experience is a side where so much I mean, so much can be done to reduce the polypharmacy, to reduce the medicine waste, to improve the clinical conditions, to improve the management plan for the old patients. And now most of the care homes, they are employing a specific care home pharmacist within them, who are dealing with the management plans, medication wastage, and different size, just to improve the care of the patients in the care homes. These are the these are different sectors where pharmacists can work, and they can show their expertise, and this is just a bit of rough outlook how the profession has grown in past 5 to 10 years. Again, I'm saying, I mean, when I started, it was just the community and the hospital pharmacies, mostly in the news, or industrial pharmacy and the other sides were there. But now with the new idea of the NHS, the new structure plan of the NHS, they have put the pharmacists in a very much central role. And if anyone's who are coming up as a pharmacist, or who are looking towards building up their career as a pharmacist, then trust me, is not something that you will consider, oh, I have not been selected for the medicines, then nothing to be disappointed. You will get every opportunity where you can build up a very successful and very satisfied career. It all depends upon yourself, how much you want, or how much what's your desire, because desire is the hidden success of the hidden secret of the success. So if you have got the desire, you will be successful, and it will be a very successful career, depending upon how much effort you can.
Thank you very much, Brother Noshad. It's a very, very detailed description. So I think, Brother Rafiq, is there some questions here? I think one of the questions is that, do pharmacists have to do night calls as well?
To be honest, I haven't got much hospital experience, but I think they are one of my friends. He was working as a hospital pharmacist, and he was working as an on-call pharmacist. He might not need to be present in the hospital physically, but yeah, he was always available on the phone, or whichever way they used to communicate. And if there is any query coming from the wards or any patient, he was always available. But then, yeah, if in urgent care, A&D or out of hours, there are pharmacists who are working in late nights as well.
The other question is, how long does it take to become a pharmacist? I mean, is it...
It's a 4-year course, master's course, and then 1 year pre-reg it's a paid training. So once you finish the course, then you have to join either community pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, or GP practice, or industrial sector, where you will be working under a tutor or registered pharmacist. You will get 1 year training, and then there will be a final exam. It's called pre-reg exam. Once you have passed that exam, then you can work as a.
Anybody have any question, or they can put it on in a questions or in the message? Certainly, it has been changing the environment, and we do have some clinical pharmacists who are working side by side with us, and they are running the clinics. And I think this is a new recent development, and in the last just a few years I'm aware of, and it's taking a bit more a proper role now as compared to initially it was a trial. I know I'm a dermatologist, and we have clinical pharmacists who just specialize in dermatology, and they are doing the special clinics along with us, and also managing the chemotherapy and other things. So it's a wonderful opportunity, particularly if they want to specialize a bit more on one particular thing. So we have seen that this has developed even more. So
Definitely,
it's a very exciting opportunity. Any
definitely.
else ask any question? I will just look on. I think my Rafiq bhai is slightly gone, so I'll just
No, I'm
look on
here.
it.
I'm here.
Okay.
There aren't any new questions on the chat
Oh,
box. I had one question, brother. Is there any particular university that is good in this industry for people who can get educated? Do you have something in mind like that in pharmacy?
You
Any particular university being good at it?
you mean to
Any-
as a pharmacist or to
Yes.
develop after? To be honest, I'm not sure about the rankings, but Eastern University and I mean is from where I did my degree completion. So that was one of the top. But then there is the ones. But I'm to be honest, I won't give the numbering. But King's College and those ones, they are always on the top. So I think if someone is interested, they can Google and the ranking will come on the system.
Yeah. There is a user who has asked a question. What if you have a biomedical degree? Do you have to do full 4 years?
Um, Again, it's something I'm not complete. I'm sure there are some degrees, there are some other qualifications which you can proceed from them. I think if there is a website from the World Pharmaceutical Society who have got a link with the other qualifications. I think where they can have a look whichever degree they have, how much years, or if they can link it with the pharmacy. But to be honest, it's a bit difficult. I won't be able to specify, but I'm sure there are some degrees which they can link it with the pharmacy.
I think it's the biomedical degree certainly have some weight when the exemption is comes, because in the medicine they exempt 1 year.
Right,
So
right.
I think probably I suspect that because the subjects you do learning initially are probably common. So
Mm-hmm.
my feeling is that probably you will have one year exempted, but I think it's best to check with the website as Brother Nishant
Yeah,
recommended.
yeah,
I have one more question as well. Um, for people who study pharmacy degrees abroad, that is non-UK degrees,
yeah,
and they want to pursue a career in UK as a pharmacist, do they have to do any link course, any diploma? For example, for doctors, they do lab exams. So for pharmaceutical career, is there any similar exams that people need to do before they
yeah.
can
They
pursue
have
career?
to. Yeah, they first of all they have to get the English proficiency test, IELTS. They have to pass the test, and then they have to get the admission in one of the accredited universities who does the conversion, the diploma type of 1 year course. And then but not all the universities they offer that course. You have to I think it's for 5 or 6 universities at the moment in UK who does the accreditation course. But the first step is always to do the English test, and then you have to contact the GPSC, the regulatory body, and then they will signpost you to different universities. And you have to contact the university placement and to be.
Yeah, there is one more question from one of our listeners. The question is, I have planned for an undergraduate course in UK. So which one would be better, pharmacology or pharmaceutical career?
In which, I mean, to link it with the pharmacy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the context of the question could be around which is more rewarding, whether it will be a pharmacology career or a pharmaceutical career.
I mean, both of them, they have got their own so many different dimensions. Pharmaceutical career, chemistry career, or pharmaceutical, it's more linked with the industry or with the research and those things. Definitely, it has got very high demand. Again, if you build up your career, and pharmacology is the clinical side, so always in demand, always in demand. It all depends. I always say to the people, the real struggle starts once you finish the university. How you build up your career after that, because opportunities, they are available in the healthcare sector. Depends upon how much more effort you. Both of them, they are very rewarding.
Very good.
Are there any more questions from anybody, any participants? You can type it in the chat box, please.
I think it was very comprehensive. You have almost covered almost all the sides as well. So, mashallah, it was very good. Um, I, I think probably in the pharmacy, in the research side, also the hospitals and academics. So, um, to have the specialist, you can go on to different subspecialties in the pharmacy, as Brother Nishant said, and we're certainly seeing this going on, but more used in all the specialties I come across, particularly the medical specialties. It's been very commonly now used.
Yeah, definitely. It's the medical, clinical side, as well as the pharmacy practice as well. In fact, my supervisor, he's a professor at Huddersfield University, so he has a wealth of experience in different countries in working in the pharmacy practice. He had just last year he did publish the first encyclopedia of pharmacy practice as well. So I mean, when I chat to him about the pharmacy practice care profession or the future, is again. We really, he says that opportunities at the moment is such a global change coming up in the healthcare sector to reduce the workload from the doctors and to bring the new opportunities. There are so many opportunities for the to grab and just come and grab them, to be honest.
Okay, if there are no questions, I think we are nearly finishing our time as well. So I will give special thanks to our brother Noshad, who's gone through a very detailed presentation, and I think a lot of people have got some more insight and information about it. And certainly, if anybody have questions later on, certainly they can ask us, and we can ask brother Noshad to give some more insight. Otherwise, if there's no questions, then we can close this webinar. And I'm thankful to all the participants who joined today, and particularly Brother Nashad. Then,
thanks
okay.
Everyone. Thanks, Taekwondo, for giving me the opportunity. And as Vincent, and if anyone has got